Welcome to the Dream Team Podcast, Episode 6. I'm here with Hot Sauce Beast, YoBGS, and Derivakat, our guest host. Thank you very much for joining us.
Hello! Hi, everyone!
Why do people talk about dreams, dream matchups? Dream Opportunities is about imagining what you want things to be like. If only the setting were just right.
None of us will ever forget.
The characters, just right. The timing, just right.
I don't think you can ever do that again, at no point in time.
If only it could all be the way you might have dreamed it up yourself.
People perceived us as being superheroes.
We became a team, and that team just stomped on everybody.
This never happened nowhere.
Figured eventually there'd be a movie made about the Dream Team.
This group may well be the greatest team ever assembled in the history.
Hello, Kat.
It's so cool to have you here because it's just been, I don't know, we've been getting more and more into music lately. And Kat, I'm sure you know this too, with so many members of like the Minecraft YouTube community putting their own music out. It seems like being in that world and getting to kind of interact with all those creators, it's got to be just such a cool time to be a musician.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't really interact too much with a lot of the other people that I actually write songs about. It's kind of funny. For the most part, I don't really interact with them much beyond just like the, oh, your music's cool, thank you. But you know, it's a mutual respect, and I think it's really cool the interactions that I do have. And I have written songs with a couple people in the community, which has been really fun. Like CG5,
Yes.
and then Krusty David and I did a song. And then I work with a lot of artists in the community as well.
Yeah, I've seen your name all over. It's actually, I would say you're hard to miss when it comes to the Dream SMP community. And I think it's actually beginning to expand even beyond that now with some of your also just personal singles that you put out that weren't even Dream SMP related that are also doing numbers as well. And I think it's just a testament to your attention to detail and prowess as a musician that we all seem to respect.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely been a really crazy journey for me, starting out back in like December or so, and then releasing like my first songs in January, to the point now where I'm like, like really big things are happening that I don't really talk about yet because they're very behind the scenes right now. But this has definitely changed my life. I would never have expected to be where I am now back when I started this. And I'm really glad that I went on this journey and that I found this community.
Oh goodness, I bet. Kat, how big was your channel before January?
Oh man, I used to do, this is kind of an admission here. I used to do Minecraft parodies back in like 2016, 2015,
What?
around then. Yeah, so I actually started doing music production with Minecraft parodies, and then I stopped
my
doing Minecraft
goodness.
parodies for a while, and now we've come full circle and I'm doing Minecraft music again. I think it's kind of fitting in a way, poetic justice, if you will. Yeah, so I did have around maybe 7,000 subscribers, 6,000, because it was dropping because I was really inactive for quite a while due to personal reasons. And then I went to college, and then I started uploading a bit more, but it wasn't really until like January that it really picked up.
Are you officially graduated now, or are you about to graduate? Because you're
I
going
am
to college for
graduated.
music, right?
Yeah, I graduated from Berklee College of Music with a degree in music production and engineering. I graduated in 3 years with summa cum laude honors, did my final semester in the spring, and it was really intense because I was writing all this music while doing my last semester with my final classes and everything. So it was really intense, but I'm glad I'm on the other side because I cannot imagine continuing doing school during the pandemic. It was really rough.
Oh yeah.
How did you avoid the senioritis? Because I know, especially being, on the path to graduate in 3 years, like with honors, but having your channel blow up, it seems like it would be very easy to be like, okay, this channel's going to be what I'm doing after I graduate. So maybe some of the classes fall by the wayside. I mean, I'm guessing you're just not wired that way.
Oh, absolutely. Like I started feeling like the material and the value I was getting out of school wasn't really worth it as much for me to invest so much energy in and to be emotionally invested in it. I still did all the coursework and I still met all the requirements and everything, and my teachers loved me and everything. But the real passion was for the Dream SMP music that I was writing. That was where I could really have full creativity, and I could make music that only I had to find it good enough. No one else had to say, oh, this gets an A, or oh, this gets a B, like, because I was just so tired of teachers and professors and my classmates like judging my work and thinking it was less than I thought it was. So I said, screw them, do the assignments, but I really don't care. And then I really went full in on the music. And, there are things that I did learn in my last semester. Like I did a lot of collaboration work, and a lot of like really high level production classes and stuff like that with my college. But the real value was in what I was doing and learning on my own.
I knew this was going to happen because you're such an amazing person. I feel like I knew that this was going to happen. We're all going to have 1,000 questions. Off the bat, of course, you mentioned earlier that you're going to Berkeley and that we're on PDT time. So that must mean that you're a resident of California. How does that, play into your creative process and your inspiration when it comes to being a musical artist?
I mean, I spent about a year and a half in Boston doing my degree, and then I moved home and did the rest of my degree from here, in San Francisco. It's where I live right now. And so it was all remote work, and I'm staying in San Francisco for a while longer. I really like this city. It's been interesting during the pandemic. Like I don't really go out too often. I don't really go places, but I do have friends that I meet up with every once in a while here, safely, all that. But I mean, most of my inspiration does come through online media, just like TV shows and other music from other artists. And I watch a lot of anime. I listen to a lot of K-pop. I watch movies with my family, which is really fun. Like I really try to expose myself to a lot of different types of media, and I follow visual artists, and I try to keep up with like web comics and things like that, just because it gives you this really wide range of art and what's out there, and it really sparks that creativity and uniqueness of what you can do. Because my music isn't just music, it blends a lot of things. It blends online presence, it blends Twitch streaming, there's social media, there's the videos and the interactiveness and the lyrics and the art and everything, and it all just comes together and it creates this really unique brand and identity that I have as an artist.
I'm not gonna lie, Kat, I'm pretty jealous. So when I started my channel, I mean, hence my name, Hot Sauce Beats. I mean, that's literally all I did was make beats. And so I went to college at Los Angeles Film and Music School, got my degree in music production as well. And Berkeley was actually one of the places I thought about going to, but the military wouldn't cover all of it. But I'm just so jealous of the freedom that you have, that obviously you've worked extremely hard to get. But I mean, your online persona, I mean, it's not just a Dream SMP artist. Like you said, you've integrated all your different social medias. I mean, you can stream. I see. I've watched a couple of your, you play Minecraft or other games too, on Twitch as well. And, but for you, like it's all come from this place of music, and it's insane and amazing to watch your growth from it and your drive and passion for it.
Thank you.
I was going to say that as well. I think that is probably, you're hitting once again the nail on the head of like, as a reaction channel, we all, of course, we want to be the people that is kind of being reacted to. We all want to make our content. Of course, we react to other people and we love and appreciate content creators, but we're all, of course, trying to forge that identity for ourselves and create our own fan bases through that. And we all love music on here. Like if you look at all 4 of our channels, Joey Sings is literally a singer, you know what I mean? And YoBGS is literally a radio host by day, and Hot Sauce Beast is a producer. I produce my own music. I've been making music, since I was 12. So it's also one of those things too, where we all love music, and then we all kind of hit this interesting energy field of like the Dream SMP. So this is my question to you, Kat. How did you hit that Dream SMP? Like, where was it that sparked that idea for you to go, this is a world that needs the touch of music?
Okay, I have a really good story for this. So I had a really, really rough, like second to last semester in the fall, and I was extremely burnt out between finals, like really intense classes. I did a songwriting camp at the same time and was writing songs like literally every single day. And I worked myself to the bone during finals week. And then Christmas came around and I told myself I need to take a break. I need to stop. I need to like refocus, I need to re-energize, and I need to go back into my last semester with new energy. And so my friend Kiba, who's done a lot of art for my videos, they came over for Christmas and we were hanging out and we were doing a jigsaw puzzle on my dining table. And Kiba had kind of like mentioned in passing like the Dream SMP and like Minecraft players a little bit. And I was like, no, I'm not interested in that. I was like more into K-pop at that time. And like doing more of like the school focused stuff, like learning a lot more about songwriting in that semester. So Kiba had mentioned it a couple times, and then we were doing this jigsaw puzzle, and Kiba was like, "Oh, do you want me to like tell you more about this story?" I'm like, "Sure, why not? This is gonna take like 2 hours to finish this puzzle. Go for it." So Kiba's sitting there, explaining the entire plot of the Dream SMP so far up until like mid late December to me, while I'm sitting there like sorting puzzle pieces and everything. And 2 hours later, Kiba's like finally done with it, and I'm like, "Oh, this is actually like really interesting." Like it's kind of a strange medium, you know? It's like Minecraft role play done by like young adult like content creators or like early adulthood, like 20-year-olds on this Minecraft server, and they all live stream it on Twitch. And like this is so strange, but it's so cool. And so the storyline really interested me. And then Kiba was like, "Oh, there's also people in the community that do art and they write fan fiction and they also write songs." I'm like, "Oh, let me check out some of the songs." And I listened to I think a Beetlebug song, the Ode to Lemanberg song, and then Kanaya's songs as well. And yeah, and then I listened to them and I was like, "Oh, this is so cool." Like I wonder if I could write a really cool song, but make it sound like super like pop, like radio ready, with my production knowledge and songwriting knowledge and all of that. So then that night we started writing Welcome Home.
That is so cool. And I love that you went for the like radio ready vibe with a lot of your songs, because you know, you see that a lot in different communities where music is a part of it. It's a lot of people who their heart is in the right place when it comes time to writing a song, but the chops necessarily like aren't there to back it up. You know, it'd be like, his name is Tommy, he's here to say, and that's like the extent of their songs. But that was what stuck out to me, is that your songs not only sound like they could be on the radio, but also if somebody doesn't know the Dream SMP, they can still appreciate the song. Was that kind of the goal coming in, that, you know, absolutely, if somebody just happens to stumble on it, they can dig it?
Yeah, I mean, for like copyright reasons and like personal reasons, I didn't want to like explicitly say like content creator names in my songs. I wanted this to really be like songs inspired by the Dream SMP rather than songs like about or like specifically covering the lore of the Dream SMP. And then I knew, like, you know, this isn't a long-term thing for me, and none of my work is ever really long-term. I think about like a lot about cultivating a fan base and cultivating my artist's identity. And I usually don't call people that listen to my music fans. I usually call them listeners, because I like to try and see eye to eye with people and like give them the respect and the appreciation for listening to my music. So I don't know why. I'm like I try to do that. But I give appreciation to the other songwriters in the community, and I recognize that their style of writing music is not the same as mine. And I also recognize, you know, I've paid a lot of money to go to college and to learn all this stuff. And that I have had quite a lot of technique and experience and learning and education and experience writing songs like this. So that does factor into it a lot. But, you know, like I knew over time, so long term, that the Dream SMP is going to come to an end one day. It is inevitable. It is sad, but inevitable. But, you know, for me personally, I wanted these songs to be, I didn't want people to be invested in my music just for the third party name attached to the song. I didn't want people to be like, "Oh, it's the Dream SMP writer." I want to be, "Oh, it's Derivakat. Oh, it's her music," you know? So I do try to mix in like more original stuff. And I'm working on like a new like EP or like an album of original music, because I do want people to be invested in me as an artist. So I try to make the music really good so that people would be like, "Oh, her voice is cool," or her production's cool, or her songwriting's cool, and her lyrics writing is cool. So I wanted people to get invested in that and to stick around beyond my Dream SMP content.
How cool is it to be in sort of this world where, you know, as an artist coming up, you don't necessarily need the radio. Like, you don't need the approval of a big label or anything. This was just, this is a community, this is what I feel. And it's got you bigger than a lot of artists that, you know, already are signed places.
Well, I think something that I have that a lot of artists don't is this willingness to learn and this kind of all-encompassing like management skill for myself. Like I've learned over time like how to work social media, basically how to use algorithms to my advantage, how to connect with people, and how to sell something that's really interesting and really like niche and really cool. So really like digging into that and focusing in on that. um Sorry, did you have like a second part? I'm sorry, I keep
Yeah, no, I was just saying how does it feel to not have to worry about like
Oh yeah.
a label gonna see this or is it gonna get on the radio? You can go directly to where the people are.
So yeah, I mean, I am talking to labels these days. It's kind of funny.
Ooh.
But for sure, back in the beginning, like I knew how to release music on my own. Like I just worked through DistroKid, and then I know how to do the promotion on my own. I mean, I see like visual artists do it all the time on social media. They promote their work and their stuff like that. So I felt like, if I wasn't really planning on blowing up. I just kind of felt like, hey, I'm gonna put out my best work and I'm gonna put it out there and see who likes it, and I'll try to promote it as much as I can and try and get people to see it. But
Talk
this
yo
is it
talk,
really is
that.
for me. It really
Talk
is for
yo
me.
talk. Go ahead. You can say it. We see you. You're doing something a little different. I don't know, because I've seen your rollouts. You're able to change your pace because a lot of artists would love to be in the position you're in right now, but you thought smart. You didn't work like you work hard. Don't be wrong. I see you because your consistency is incredible when it comes to the way you release tracks and how often you're putting out music. But at the same time, tapping into the DSMP and using that as a medium to kind of be like a speedboat to get all these ears and eyes on your music was literally genius.
It does seem like I really don't want it to come off as like I'm just using the Dream SMP. Like it was genuine inspiration that came from these stories that they were telling. And I do try to provide support for the other content creators in the community and stuff like that. Like I watch their streams, I love their content, like I buy their merch and stuff. But like it does come off that way to a lot of people, and a lot of people don't like me for having those names attached. Like they don't like to see the success and things like that. But I just tune it out and I say it's their problem, not mine. But yeah, definitely it's gone really big. And for sure, I feel like I'm approaching this glass ceiling of what I can do on my own as an artist. I've been managing everything. So I've been managing social media, I've been writing the music, I've been promoting the music, I've been running the YouTube channel, I've been editing the videos, I've been handling the finances, the business, the meetings, everything. And it's starting to come to this point where I can't do it all on my own, and I need to get more people into my team to help me because it's just beyond what I can do.
Well, I think to kind of go off what you said a couple minutes ago, Kat, like I don't think you really gotta worry in regards anymore to what you're building. Like you have definitely built a brand. I know us as reactors, so when we react to your music, I actually, your music is some of our best reactions.
Literally.
So we get hundreds of comments, and I can 100% tell you from those comments, like people are not invested in you maybe in the beginning, due to Dream SMP music. But I could tell you from the comments, I can tell people are invested in you as an artist, as a brand. They're not like, oh, this is like, she's such a great Dream SMP artist. It's always like you individual comments, like my favorite one is Derivakat No Genre.
It's so true.
It is so true. Actually, let's jump into that. I mean, how do you, regardless of being a good songwriter, like most artists and producers, you're kind of a triple threat in regards to writing a song, producing it, and singing. I predominantly love making like melodic hip hop, or kind of like just in that melodic hip hop zone. And I mean, I could, I've made rock beats or and stuff like that, but I don't understand how you navigate every genre, but with perfection.
For the most part, this is really just experimentation. Like I said before, this is self-satisfying music for me. Like I'm not trying to put out like a perfect song in these genres. I know I'm not, because I haven't worked in these genres. Like it's very new for me every time I work in a new genre, and it's very experimental. So I listen to a lot of references, and I talk to people that know more about the genres, and I ask them for like ideas and assistance sometimes. But for the most part, it really is just me like saying like, hey, I'm just gonna try it. What could go wrong? Like, I mean, there's definitely staples in a lot of my songs. Like, I know how to do form and transitions, and I know how to do lyrics and songwriting, and most of my vocals are very like pop oriented, very catchy melodies. So then no matter what genre I'm working in, it's always like jazz pop or like, EDM pop, and it's very pop influenced because I do listen to a lot of pop. And I think part of the reason why I work in so many genres is, one, because I listen to a lot of different genres of music. I listen to a lot of music in all of the genres I've worked in. I mentioned before I listen to K-pop, and I listen to rock and metal, I listen to hip hop, I listen to jazz, I listen to a lot of experimental music. And I think that kind of influences this really rounded out like artist palette, I guess, that I have access to, of like understanding more about these different genres. And then also I learned a lot in school about how to use references and how to kind of take a song and like take elements of it and then reimagine it in a different way, or have like a base for a song and then pull things from other songs and kind of craft this puzzle together to make a thing. But I think the other reason why I do a lot of different genres is because I think for a while I was kind of confused about like where I wanted to go with music. Like I didn't know if I wanted to go into like video game soundtrack work, or if I wanted to do more like live performance or just production or just songwriting. I had genuinely no idea. And then I was also thinking about my YouTube channel and like the music that I wanted to produce. And I was like, okay, well, I can't stick to one genre. Like the songs I've written so far are all in different genres. And the work I did for school for songwriting was also all in different genres. So then I was like, instead of trying to be one genre artist, I'll be a genre-less artist, and I'll just work wherever I want to. And that'll be part of my like gimmick, like every song is in a different genre. But I think that's going to change in the future. I am kind of settling down a bit more into, like pop and R&B a bit more. And then like EDM influence. But, I think those opportunities to work in different areas of music and to branch out more have definitely taught me so much. I mean, you guys have heard all my music. You can hear from back in January to like my most recent releases how much my music has improved in that time. And it's a testament to experimentation and that feeling of like, the reason why I make my music a self-satisfying thing and why I have to find the value in it is because then I feel confident taking these risks and putting myself out there to do this type of stuff.
It's your music. You have to love it before your fans love it. If you ever get a manager, like at the end of the day, it's your music. If you don't like it, your fans are going to hear that in the music, Yeah,
one of my big fears going forward is as I add people to my team, or as I potentially work with a label, it's no longer going to be only me who has to say yes to my music. It starts having to go through other people again, and that's like a big fear that I have right now with working with other people. Like I don't want it to be like someone else says no, or someone else doesn't find my music good enough, and it becomes a point where it's no longer they just don't like it and it's not their type of music, and it becomes an issue of this is not where it needs to be in terms of quality and standards. And that's a big fear of mine as an artist.
I definitely relate to that idea 100%. Is definitely something that, as a creator, when you are so self-driven, when you do everything on your own, it's definitely a legitimate fear that once you add more hands into it, it could dilute the quality, it could dilute, what your standard might be because you're adding all these different, input. It also, of course, could be the inverse where it could highly benefit your work to share with someone that's also very gifted, that can see where your direction is and kind of coax maybe a different side of you out. So I definitely understand where you're coming from, because it's kind of finding that balance of like, vetting people, you're kind of trying to figure out, and I can see where you're going right now, where your production, everything you're going with your music as we listen to it, it's becoming bigger and bigger and grander. You're adding more like voices, like things like that. Like you're these large, huge projects. And I can definitely see why you're like, look, I can't be my manager, my promoter, my freaking the person that does the songwriting, the person that produces the beat. Like I can't be like all these things all the time as this goes on and as I have these other ventures that, you know, you're trying to break out of. Because like I mentioned before, every one of your releases, it feels like a grand rollout. It doesn't just feel like, you know, someone just releasing 1 or 2 tracks. You know, maybe your profile picture will change, or banner, what you put on Twitter, you know what I'm saying, changes. All these different things are all like an element for the story that I feel like you put out as an artist with every single you push. So that's kind of where I can kind of see where you're coming from. And I kind of want to piggyback what you said on about influences when it comes to different genres. Just because I've, you know, I grew up in San Francisco, and as a San Francisco person, I know that I'm always like introduced to all these different types of music, whether it be hip hop one day, it could be metal the next day, it could be death metal. You never know. You know, all these different things end up hitting my ear as a producer. So what are some artists that you've been kind of having your ear at lately that's been really influencing or maybe kind of helping you, you know, bring that side of you out?
Ooh, I've mentioned a couple times I listen to a lot of K-pop. I think what they're doing over there is just, it's so cool, and it's so like I guess like unique and like on the edge, like on the new edge of music, I guess. Because they do work with a lot of American songwriters, but the creativity and the production is really, really cool. So I do pull a lot of inspiration from there. And then well, I've been listening to a lot of like EDM these days, like Porter Robinson and Maddie, and I'm gonna go see them at a festival this weekend. I'm super excited. Yeah, I've been listening to an artist called Sleep Token a lot lately. They're like a like metal artist, but they also blend a lot of really interesting like pop and like really melodic and cinematic elements into their music with a lot of FX, and the lyrics are really, really, really good. And their singer's amazing. And then I'm listening to a lot of Motown these days as well.
Oh, God,
Like
love some
throwback
Motown.
Motown, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really all over the place. I listen to a lot of Keshi, Bruno Major, um, who else? Novo Amor, who's like a folk indie songwriter. I've been listening to the Millennium album, which is electro pop kind of stuff. I think I have a bunch of playlists on Spotify, self-promo time, that show a lot of like the music that I listen to. So and it's all over the place, you know. Sometimes I listen to classical music. It's just whatever mood I'm in, and I've got a genre or a playlist for it.
That's the nice part about nowadays, just being able to listen to music online. It's so much more accessible for everybody, because I've been for a while now, I've been down a weird like future funk, like city pop rabbit hole for a little bit, and it's easier to find. I don't know, back in the day, if I'd have been able to go to a CD store and you're like, yeah, what do you have in 80s Japanese pop for me? I don't think it had much.
So you have your musical influencers. Since you're also a music producer, do you have any music producer influencers, like, or do you just get all your inspiration from music, or they're producers that you like their styles, or like, you know, YouTube, there's a lot of, you know, YouTube producers is also a massive niche as well. Do you watch any YouTube, goodness, I keep stuttering, you know what I'm asking. Do you watch any of them?
I actually don't watch many of the YouTube producers or the Twitch producers that work a lot on them, which is kind of ironic because I do produce on Twitch Live. But I feel like that's just more of a way to share with people and to just have them kind of learn more about my process and stuff like that, rather than to necessarily teach people. Because I feel like I'm a really bad teacher sometimes. Like I work too fast and I don't explain things right, or I explain things in a really convoluted way. Yeah, I mean, for producers, like I don't think I listen to songs with just production in mind. I think very holistically about music. I don't think about it like produce a beat and then write a melody over it. It's very intertwined how I write and how my process works. Because I did learn how to write melodies before I didn't ever really learn how to produce a beat, you know? Like they don't teach that at my college, which is kind of ironic because it's called music production, but my college focused a lot more on like the record a band in a room and like tell them emotionally how to feel okay when they play the music, rather than we have a whole other major at my school called electronic music and production, which is way more about like the EDM kind of stuff, and it's just a bunch of people in the lab like twisting knobs on the modular synths. It's very funny to see them in there. But I almost dual majored, and then I dropped the major because I was like, this is not it. I don't want to just turn knobs on a synthesizer. Like I want to learn how to emulate a guitar in a VST, and I want to learn how to layer synths, and I want to learn how to add acoustic elements to electronic elements and blend these things together and create really interesting works by doing that. So my production is really just self-taught and a lot of work and experimentation. I think something that did help me a lot that I did in college was actually sound-alikes. I don't know if you guys have heard of those before, but we do these to basically break down a song and to recreate it through electronic or through acoustic recording methods to basically just recreate the entire song as close as you can to the original. And it really does actually teach you a lot because, one, you have to use critical listening to break all these elements down and to identify, okay, there's reverb here, they have a guitar here and it's panned here, volume's here, their vocalist is belting here or using falsetto here. And then once you've analyzed all those pieces, you have to learn how to recreate it to perfection. So I think I did maybe like 3 sound-alikes in college, and the first ones I did were horrible. And the last one I did was actually pretty decent. So definitely some improvement there. And it did teach me a lot about how to, use synths and recorded elements and blend those together. So yeah, just a lot of self-learning along the way.
Well, and do any of those find their way into your music now? Like when you were playing around with something back in the day, are you like, that may not be good for the sound-alike, but I really like how that sounds. I'm just going to save that for now and maybe come back to it later and use it in some more current stuff.
I mean, there's definitely techniques and stuff that I've learned, both through doing the sound-alikes and through like mixing classes at my college. My mixing teachers really liked me because they really thought I was really good at mixing. So I guess that kind of came through practice and a little bit of a good natural ear for it. But I think learning about first mixing techniques and also creative mixing techniques. So first how to make all your instruments sound good and fit together and whatnot. And then also how to use mixing creatively to create emotional arc through your song. So you're not just relying on the vocals and the vocal production or just the lyrics and the melody writing or just the beat. You're using all of these elements together to tell that story and to create this flow through the song that really has form and transition and a climax point and everything like that.
It definitely comes through though, because I know in all of our reactions to your songs, we pointed out that everything goes together. Mm-hmm. So it feels like that everything is intentional. Nothing from an instrument to a transition is there just because you were like, oh shoot, I need to fill, a quarter of a second here. Like it's all there for a reason.
I love your guys' reactions because you pick up on those little things that I put in there. Like the little production things that like the average listener doesn't hear, but then people that know music or that I find really self-satisfying in my music, you guys pick up on them and I get so happy when you do. And then you recognize all these little things and sometimes like the bigger picture kind of things that I put together in my music. And I am consciously thinking about these things and working on them. So I really do appreciate it.
And it's so much fun to do that because I think kind of like you don't, want to get pigeonholed into being like the Dream SMP singer. We don't want to get kind of pigeonholed into that world of, oh, you're just somebody who listens to and nods along with a song. So we all try and I think in our own ways find the things that nobody else is going to mention with the song. And I don't know. It's almost like Easter egg hunting in a big way.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, I do watch a lot of reactions to my songs. Like I click on all of them that come up like the week after I release a song, and then I watch them. And I really like your guys' reactions because like when the people just kind of sit there and nod along, it's kind of like, okay, well, I just wanted to know what you think about this. Like, do you just saying it's good at the end, like, okay, like, are you excited about it? Do you think it has good energy? Like, do you like the lyrics? Like, can you say something about it? Not just it's good, I like it. So yeah, I think like an Easter egg hunt, like you said, like it is fun to kind of decipher and decode those little things that I put in. And it does take like kind of a more trained ear to pick up on them.
That is such a huge thing that separates you from, I mean, even big artists on the radio is when you are a true music lover like we are, your songs are so fun to listen to. Just like, perfect example on Revived, the train sounds or Casino Royale, the slot machine sounds. You always find these sounds to tie into the song that also tie into the character that you're making the song about. And that's one of my favorite things to listen to your music is to find those little things that you're tying in together. But I think what also makes a song, like, it's what sets it apart from your normal artist, because you're putting in that extra work to make it unique and special.
I mean, yeah, part of my little artist bio thing is that I blend elements together to evoke image, and that really is something I think about in my music. Is I don't have any kind of like synesthesia or anything, but I do try to feel um feel into kind of just creating a world with my music, creating a feeling with my music rather than only relying on like the lyrics to tell a story or something like that. So just blending different like soundscapes and things like that together, and then also thinking about like what kind of world am I creating, what kind of atmosphere, without it being like, like an ASMR kind of thing where it's just the sounds and whatnot. So yeah, I mean, in a lot of my songs you can hear those little sound effects and things. I think the revived one is kind of funny because I think I had like a note somewhere, because I stopped working on the song for like a really long time, and then I finally started working on it again when the lore had come out, and I've actually watched the lore streams. But I had a little note somewhere that said like put train effects in, and I was like, oh, I found it, and I was like, oh, okay, just go search on Splice for a bunch of different train sound effects and then drop them in and time it and everything, and it worked out pretty well. And I think it creates a really interesting song. I think Revived is like the one song that I have that I cannot put a genre on. Like I genuinely do not know. And like it's rap. There's train sounds. There's a bass. Yeah, it's a cool song. Kind of the appeal to it, but because it's kind of this really unique thing that like I don't think anyone has ever like done a song like that. It's always kind of tied down by like different elements of a specific genre, whereas Revive kind of transcends all of that. It's pretty cool.
That's part of what I love about it. And that's the thing I feel like it's really interesting right now about interviewing an artist like yourself, or like a CG5 or like a Corpse or even like a Dream, in that idea that when you're an independent artist, you're forging these worlds, these soundscapes for people, and they're being drawn into them. And you're breaking open the industry in a lot of ways. Like even right now, we might be bopping our heads, we might be reacting to this music, and we might be having you on as a guest in this podcast. And, these things might happen, but in the grander scheme of things, in a lot of ways, it's like we're kind of legitimizing you as outside of that DSMP realm. It's like you are an artist on your own, standalone, that's independent and is being seen and being legitimized alongside the artists like that are a bit more mainstream, maybe like a freaking Kanye or a freaking Drake. It's interesting, but that's the case. It's like if you look at our channels, if we're all reacting to your stuff, that's one less reaction that's going to one of these bigger artists, one of these other major artists that normally get all the reactions and all the people like clicking and watching their stuff. So it's just really, really interesting how this world is kind of brewing before our eyes, of the internet kind of taking over the industry in a lot of ways.
I mean, and a lot of the big labels and people see it, and they're a little bit on the edge about it. They're reaching out to me and they're like, "What the heck are you doing? How are you getting these numbers? What is going on?" Explain to them what the Dream SMP is, and I'm like, it's Minecraft, and they role play, and I write songs about it, and it's always really funny talking to them, because they come from this world of like like press and sync and radio, and working with an artist who like only sings the songs, like maybe they don't even do the songwriting, and it's like they're kind of more of like a single piece in this bigger puzzle of creating the artist, whereas I am the puzzle. I am all the pieces right now, and I've put it all together myself, and I'm able to market it and push for myself in a very unique and like industry breaking way that I don't need a label to get big. I don't need to have a distributor to get big. I don't need necessarily like press and like huge amounts of money into marketing to get numbers. And it's kind of crazy that I can do that, and that I've created a online community for myself, whereas I feel like a lot of artists, musicians haven't taken advantage of this. Like the digital world and the visual digital world as well, like with visual art and stuff like that. Like I always feel like, I'm very alone in my work. Like I actually don't know many other musicians who are in the industry and not in this like kind of online persona kind of work, like CG5, Living Tombstone, people like that.
Since you brought up CG5, can we talk on that? What was that like? Because I feel like I'm not at all saying you and CG5 are the same artist, because you're not, but I feel like you guys have a lot of similarities in regards to how you approach music, how vast your guys, like, I don't think really CG5 has a genre either. And I love how you guys can switch it up. So you guys, and you know, he's a producer as well, writes, sings. So, I mean, you guys working together, what was that dynamic like?
It was pretty interesting, actually. He sent me like a ton of demos, and then I was like, oh, this one sounds really cool. And I've been wanting to write a Puffy song for a really long time. Like one like kind of like sea shanty-esque. I think like very early on, people were like, Derivakat sea shanty? I'm like, this is not happening. And then it happened. So it was really cool. He wrote like the beat basically, and I top-lined over it. And then I did the mixing and everything for it. So it was one of those instances where it's not as much written together, but then when I do write the top line, I think a lot more about where am I calling out to little hooks in the beat melody and stuff like that, and like how am I using the existing form and then layering the lyrics and the melody and the rhythm of the melody on top of that to accentuate it and emphasize it, rather than working against it or feeling disjointed and like it's two separate things that we try to combine together. So I think a lot of people don't know that that it was you know, I just got a beat and I wrote the entire thing. I even wrote the CG5 rap part, which was really funny. I was like, I need to do a really, really good white boy rap here. And I put, you know, that we gotta like, whoa, in there. I was like, oh, that sounds great. I think this will be great. It's like a TikTok audio kind of thing. I felt like it worked though. It's a little bit tongue in cheek for me to kind of put a line like that. But it's really fun also. So that was fun to write.
Okay, so you're more like I would like to liken you once again to like, if I were to kind of put it on, I'm not saying that you like this artist or associate you in that way, but kind of like the maestro, similar to like a Kanye, and the idea that when you're working with someone, if it's like a feature or if they have ideas, then you kind of take them and you'll write lyrics for them and kind of give them an idea of like, well, I kind of want you to give this kind of vibe to the song. I want you to add this. I want you to sprinkle it this way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, kind of like that. For most of my collaborations that I've done so far, it's been like that, where I'm writing lyrics and melody for both of us, but then I think about when I'm writing for the other person, like how are they coming into this and adding something different than what I'm adding into it. So then a lot of people say like, oh, your voices blend really well together, and I'm like, that was on purpose. That was absolutely on purpose. But yeah, the rest of the process was super cool. Working together, putting out the video and everything, working with SAD-ist. Oh my gosh, that was so cool. I was so terrified
wild
to ask her to work with me. I was like, I don't think my song is good enough for a SAD-ist animation. And then my friends were like, oh no, SAD-ist should be like, her work isn't good enough for your songs. I'm like, no, she's so good. She's so talented. It was such a good collaboration between the three of us, and the whole like trailer announcement and everything was super fun. And she was just amazing to work with. And she took all, I literally just sent her the song and was like, I just need an animation loop. And I sent her like the deadline and everything and all the assets I needed. And then she gave me back the animation with like the little wheel spin and like the movements and stuff like that. I'm like, this is so cool, because SAD-ist has SAD-ist kind of works in a very similar way to I do, where it's like she's an animator, but she knows how cinematography works, and puts a lot of those elements into her animation, and that's what makes it so incredibly good. With like the motion blur and like the movement and the perspective and the transitions and everything. Like, she's really done her research, and she's so young and she's so talented. It's incredible. But I thought that, like, you know, it'd be really cool if we worked together like that, because you know, she's picked up on all these little things in the music and how to accentuate them with the animation, and it was just so cool to get that back. I was freaking out when I first saw it. It was so cool.
Now, have you had a chance to because I go back to Voices, and it's such a unique project, like the chorus of 70 people. I'm interested in how that came up, because for some reason for me, I'm seeing it as like a thing that was tied into school for some reason. I think it's because I like the band Fish, and their first album was basically the lead guitarist wrote it as part of his music theory, and then he immediately failed out of school and made it an album anyway. But like a chorus of 70 people, that seems like something that your professors would have loved.
Oh, absolutely. I turned it in for a school assignment. I think I got an A on it. It was for my mixing class, and my teacher was like, "What the heck? You mixed 70 people?" I'm like, "Yeah." It was fun. But the project kind of came about because I had this idea to do like more of a community project, and then I wrote the song with my Twitch chat actually. And then we did like applications to be in the song because I knew I couldn't have just anyone join it because it would become an issue of like mic quality for me, being able to mix it together and make it sound good, like professional. So that was my big barrier for people to get in. And then originally I was going to accept 100 people, and then my friends were like, "You're insane, don't do that, do 75." I'm like, "Okay, 75." And then we had a couple people who couldn't make the deadlines and stuff like that, or had other issues come up, and then we finished with 70 people total. I had to rope in Kiba to actually sing on it so that we wouldn't have 69 voices. I felt like that would have been a little bit not great. It would have had to have been like Derivakat plus 68 or something. We couldn't have the number 69 in the title. It was so bad.
There's actually a fake person in there, but no one knows who it is.
Exactly. You count the number of names on the screen and it doesn't add up. But yeah, I mean, I had done, I was actually working on another project that I don't necessarily want to name because it didn't exactly end well for everyone, but it was a big project where a lot of people worked together. And I think there were over like 200 people involved in the project between like the music side of things and then like the artwork and the promotion and stuff like that. We were making like an album, like a fan album for a group. And I had worked with maybe like 15 people max on a song then. And from doing that project, I kind of realized, okay, this is how you run one of these like massive group projects. And I had been a big fan. There's a cover of a Vocaloid song called Tokyo Teddy Bear by a YouTube channel named Sir Hamnet with 100 voices in the chorus. And I'm a huge fan of that sound of like just the huge number of people singing and everything. I was like, that's so cool. And I want to do something like that. So I took the idea of doing the mass chorus and what I learned from the previous project I had done, how to run it, how to be a good manager for the project, how to run the applications, how to do the mixing, how to send out the instructions to everyone. And then this idea to do like a community project and have people from the community who are the viewers of Techno's streams, who are like, you know, they're canonized as the voices in his head, be the actual singers of the song. I was like, this would be such a cool idea. And then sent out the applications and the instructions, and people sent me the files back. I think there were like something like 300 or 400 tracks in the project. That I had to go through. And then we also did like a really interesting system for like splitting up the people into 4 groups for the different sections in the song. And then also other groups for like the different chants and the different harmonies and things like that. So there are a bunch of subgroups and everything, and everyone's singing at different times. But for the most part, I was able to keep it pretty organized and crank it out in about, I think, 2 weeks for the mixing and finishing the video and everything.
I hate mixing, so I applaud you, man. Out of music production, the thing I hate the most is mixing. So to do that with that many separate tracks, and the thing that stuck out when you said is the harmonizing. You know, picking the subgroups of people that, you know, harmonically go well together. God, I can't even fathom just, you know, scratching your head and just like, oh my God, this is a massive project.
As reaction channels, we have kind of, you know, people just that comment on our videos and may show up to our streams, and it was literally like seeing your friend in a movie. You know, you see their name light up, you're like, oh my God, no way, you got in the thing. And like, it just is a community project. I think it went so far beyond just the people who got to be a part of the song.
Yeah, I mean, it was really cool. I think a lot of people were really excited about it. There has been a little bit of backlash for multiple reasons for the song, so that's why I don't really talk about it as much or promote it as much. And that's also one of the reasons why I didn't put it on the new album, beyond the fact that it's like very copyright between my Twitch chat writing it and then having like 70 people on the song, and I'd have to figure out monetization and everything like that. So I was just like, just leave it off of the album and just let it be a standalone thing on YouTube. So it's not monetized or anything on YouTube either.
And that's something, once again, it's like you're learning. It's all part of that learning process of working with bigger people, trying to work with more people, trying to do these grandiose kind of projects. that can really set you apart from any other artist right now. And honestly, I feel bad for these labels because the corporate mindset, they're probably looking at you and they're seeing, you're trying to tell them, you're like, they're asking, what is it special? And you're telling them, you're like, well, I made tracks about the DSMP and that's Minecraft and people role play in Minecraft and I make music and I'm produced and it's pop centric and it has all these elements and it's storyboards and it's working with these artists, and they're looking at all these other elements and they're like, we have an industry plan. Hello. We have deadlines. Okay.
Which, by the way, since the labels now know the Dream SMP is a thing, if Taylor Swift writes a song about Wilbur Soot, I'm blaming you.
Okay, good to know.
That's
Thank
all
you.
your fault. You've let the word out.
The thing is, like, a lot of the people that I talk to from these labels, they're more interested in the fact that I'm in this online gaming space and that I write songs about the Dream SMP rather than being interested in what type of song I write about the Dream SMP and how my music in particular has like really blown up. Because I mean, there are other artists who write about this, and like the fact of the matter is I haven't seen like a lot of people like blow up to the extent that I have solely off of Dream SMP music. Like CG5 has blown up for other songs as well, inspired by other video games. So it's very interesting to hear them talk and to kind of have a more straightforward mindset about like what they think is causing me to blow up rather than I think maybe truly listening to how unique of a perspective I've taken on writing like fan music, I guess, or like music inspired by other people or other content.
And that's part of that disconnect. That's the part of it, like them, of course, not being a part of the community to really understand, the difference and understanding, how can they, replicate that, or how can they kind of get that sauce. And unfortunately, that actually is such a similar struggle to the music industry for years. The corporate, they will never fully understand. That's part of the reason why, they try to bring in creative talent as much as they can, and they have people that oversee that because they're constantly trying to replicate that for money standard and for, making a profit more than really understanding the soul of it or the reason why so many people are connecting to it emotionally.
There's definitely labels out there who do recognize like me as an artist. Like I don't want to like have people take this out of context, but that like do recognize that I'm an artist and I am putting a very unique spin on this and that I do have a lot of value beyond the Dream SMP as a person. And those are the labels that I'm continuing to talk to and that are really interested in working with me. And something I'm really big on is keeping that creative control over my work so I can continue to have this mindset of like someone who isn't part of this bigger industry but has a very unique and fresh perspective on everything and has really creative ideas and wants to work with people in the communities and commission my own artists and stuff like that, to have that kind of freedom when I if I do decide to work with them.
I think labels do understand. I mean, there's many very brilliant people ahead of labels. I think at the end of the day, though, what it is with a majority of labels, it all comes down to revenue, right? So they see, and it goes both ways. So they see like what you're doing, Kat, or anyone who's coming up on, Roxanne, Arizona, how do you say his last name?
Arizona Service.
Yep.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
So just like people like that are coming up, the SoundCloud era and stuff like that. And I think, I don't want to say that they're scared of like artists that are doing it, but they know that you have so much control over everything, right? Because when you're your own artist doing everything in today's day and age with the internet and SoundCloud and YouTube and Spotify, like they know that if they bring you on board, they're not going to be able to give you like a normal deal that they give someone with a lower percentage, because you are your own label. So they know that they're going to have to, offer you more money, or any artist that is already made. So they have to bring a lot to the table to try and get you off of doing things on your own. I think when they, maybe say like they don't understand it, I think they do. They're just afraid of giving out more money.
I definitely agree with that. I definitely can see where you're coming from with that. And it kind of, like I said before, kind of when you compare kind of where YouTube is too when it comes to artists, when you're looking at it, they're not really, because I've seen this conversation a bit more about YouTube artists too. Because that's the thing with Derivakat, right? Like that's the thing about your brand. You're kind of going beyond the DSMP. You're being seen more as an artist, but then there's also the level of like, can you shed the light of being the YouTube artist, which I think is kind of falling apart now. We're seeing that in real time. We're starting to see with a lot of artists, it's kind of splintering where that respect of being kind of more only YouTube or having all the streaming platforms, but being mainly known for being more of a YouTuber. More artists are kind of embracing that more, and we're seeing that with like KSI or like I hate that I have all these hip hop references. That's the main, but I see like maybe like DDG or something like of that nature. That's like, I don't want to be seen as a YouTuber. I want to be seen as like a serious artist. How does that pressure like feel for you?
I mean, I feel like since my content on my YouTube channel is only my song releases, I feel like that kind of helps a bit. Like I don't put content on there that's like me talking about how to make music or like any other type of content on there. I don't know. I don't put clips for my VODs or anything on there. It really is just my music releases, and it kind of functions like a lot of other artist channels or like label channels too that do just put the music out there. So I think that definitely helps a little bit, but I don't think I have that fear of like being like a quote unquote YouTube artist. Like I think YouTube is part of like my brand and who I am as an artist, and kind of running that YouTube channel as like like a Derivakat music channel works in my favor in a sense.
You mentioned that you love experimenting with different genres, and obviously we've been talking about how amazing the songs are that we get the opportunity to hear. Is there anything, we talked to Evan about this as well with some of his storylines, is there any genre that like you experimented with, or maybe you tried to pick up a thread to run with for a song, and at the end of the day you were just like, it's just not gonna get to where I want it to be?
I mean, there's definitely a lot of songs in different genres that I have I guess kind of put on the shelf in a sense, and then written better versions of them. So I have like a future-based song called Miss You that I wrote better as Turn Back Time. And I took
Nice.
little elements of the other song and I kind of put them into Turn Back Time, thinking about like little sound effects and how to do that kind of like fun sparkly vibe and everything, but then just wrote this song better in a sense. So yeah. I also have another one for I don't remember what song it was, but I think it was a Doomsday maybe, like another idea for it. It was called Anarchy, but then I completely scrapped it, and then I took the same like concept and then rewrote it into Doomsday.
Nice. Like it's always cool to hear that just creative process, because as the people who only get to hear the finished product, and you talk about all the mixing and production that goes into it. I was thinking about when we were talking about the train sounds. Like if anybody walked by your room while you're working, they just heard 45 minutes of you listening to train sounds and thought you lost your mind.
My brother, when he was listening to me record Revive, he's like, I heard you yelling, but I assumed it was for music stuff. I'm like, yeah, sorry about that. So, yeah, I mean, my family is usually pretty chill. I am moving out into my own place soon, so they won't be able to hear me yelling rap lyrics anymore. Yeah, pretty exciting, but it is kind of funny. Yeah, just train sounds in my room. Yeah, like you said.
I'm gonna be honest, Kat. This is gonna be a tough question, okay? But I just need you to trust me and bear with it. I need you to pick your favorite song, and you can't. When someone asks you what's your favorite movie, and I can't pick, like, I know there's got to be one in your soul that you love the most, right?
Just waiting to see Derivakat has left the call. Way to go, Hot Sauce.
Here it is. It is Casino Royale, actually. It is nice.
That's awesome.
I love, like I've said before, my songs are all very self-satisfying. So I do I guess I love the work and I love who I was when I wrote the work, you know? I appreciate every aspect of it and who I was at the time that I wrote it, and I love all the little things I did amazing, and I recognize all the little things I can improve on, and I recognize my growth over time. That's why I have songs from like, you know, like years ago still up on my channels, because I can love who I was when I wrote them or when I worked on it. But Casino Royale, I think I'm just so excessively proud of, because it's a very cool song in the sense that one, like the harmonic progression is awesome. Like just that, oh, the third chord in the chorus, just it knocks me off my feet every time. I genuinely don't remember how I did that, but it was so cool when I figured that out. And I'm like, oh, the harmonic progression is so cool. The drums and the instruments are so cool. I recreated an entire big band jazz on my own. I did Syndicate, but better with Casino Royale. I did like a daytime feeling of Syndicate, whereas Syndicate feels more like a nighttime jazz, like a smooth jazz you listen to in like a cocktail bar kind of thing. Whereas Casino Royale feels like you would listen to it on a big concert stage, and it's a huge band playing, and almost all the sounds in there are VST. I think the drums are samples, and there's horn stabs that are samples, and then me singing, and then the casino samples. But everything else is all VST in that song, and it's just so cool. Such a testament to my production ability and everything like that, and then my writing ability too. That like melody that I had that just the and it mimics the bass line in there. There's just so many little things that I'm so proud of in that song, and I just get so happy when I listen to it, because it's self-satisfying in the sense that when I listen to other songs, there's things that get me excited, and I really love, and I freak out. I like nerd out about it. My friends are like, "Kat, you're so nerdy about music." I'm like, "No, it's so cool. Hear me out." So Casino Royale is what I love in music, and it's all those little tiny things that I get so excited, but I put them in my own song so then I can put it out there and do. I guess other people have this kind of thing in art, like an artist, if they want to see something, they can draw it. Seamstress, if they want to have a clothing piece that no one else has made, they can make it themselves. For me, if I want to hear a really specific type of song, or I want to hear a really specific element in a song, I can just do it myself. I can write the song that I would want to hear and I would want to listen to. So that's why that's one of my favorites. Definitely a lot of others that are up there with it, but that one just takes the cake for me as one of my favorite songs I've written.
So cool. But then, like, how do you get back into the studio again, you know? Because you've written something that you love so much, and then you put it out, and then the next day you're like, okay, back to the beginning. How can I write something as good as that?
Well, I mean, it's that patience with yourself, and that ability to give yourself time to find new inspiration for things. So it either comes to me as like stories that I want to tell, or little catchphrases or hooks or melodies, or I find a cool sample somewhere, or I have a new genre that I want to work in, or I watch a new TV show or lore stream, or I play a game or something where I'm working with someone in a collaboration, and I find the inspiration to my songs in a lot of different places. You know, sometimes it is just finding like a cool sample, and I'm like, oh, this would make a cool Wilbur Soot song. And sometimes it's I think one of the coolest ones was for Tell Your Story, and also Turn Back Time. Both of these, I think I saw the art first on Twitter. For Tell Your Story, the art actually had the caption, "Whose story will you tell next?" So the artwork that's in the thumbnail and in the video is by an artist named Mung Dreams on Twitter. And I saw the caption on their post, and I was like, that would be such a cool song name, Tell Your Story. I will tell your story. And I wrote the whole song. And then I messaged them last minute. I was like, "Hey, can I use your art in my video?" I feel like it fits really well. So
I love what you said though about using, because that's what it is. You're using the music as your medium. When you're an artist, like that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to get that vision out, and that's what I do with the reactions. Like I have this very idea of what I want the tone of the entire video to be. And sometimes I will go to bed that night and be envisioning a video that I want to do in the future, like weeks from now. And I'll play it all out. Even if I'm reacting to things that I've never seen or heard the music before, in my head, I have an idea of like what I want the tone of the video to be like. And that's kind of how I shape it out when it comes to the music reactions as well. And Turn Back Time, when you listen to it, there's this very beautiful, sweeping, nostalgic feeling to it. It gives you the feeling of like all the best times that you remember. And when I put that on and I was listening to that for the first time, in the raw footage, you can see it in my face. Like you could see it in my body language. Like I felt like I was being put back to the time when I was a kid, going to the grocery store and getting my favorite candy or something and being elated by just the simple thing of that. Or back to the time when I had a friend that maybe passed on that I used to spend a lot of time with. Like either way, it's a very sweet, memory and feeling. And I feel like the chords, the way the song progresses, the sound effects and the bubbly feel to it just matches that perfectly. And I can definitely see where you were coming from when you say like as a medium, as an artist, just like a paintbrush, you're kind of painting out that feeling and trying to put that all together in your own way.
Yeah, I mean, Turn Back Time was one of like the earlier songs that I wrote, and I think one of the first ones that I wrote on Twitch stream. So I think the VOD is actually still up on my channel, or like a re-upload of the VOD, which was super cool. I rushed that song so much. I think I wrote the whole thing in like 24 hours.
Wow.
Yeah. Because I posted the clip on Twitter, and then Carl like DM'd me and was like, "Can I play this in your stream?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure. When are you streaming?" And he didn't respond to me, so I finished it as soon as I could because I had no idea when he was gonna stream. So that I rushed it and I finished it. And I stayed up really late doing that, but it turned out still amazing. Whereas like some songs like Revive take me months to finish. So, but I'm really glad you find like such value and such feeling in my song, because like that is what I'm trying to express and trying to convey between my choices in lyrics and melody and my choices in song flow and form structure, and then also like the soundscapes and the sound design of the instruments themselves.
I do want to make sure we get this out there, obviously. What's next? Because we know there's at least one thing that's coming up, but we need to know what's coming up down the road too.
Yeah, so I have my new song, Finally Find You, coming out on Friday. Self-promo time. It's a collaboration with Natrum. It's kind of funny because Natrum and I both found each other's music through Puns, who streams like speedrunning and Valorant, and plays on the Dream SMP. So it's kind of interesting that, we found each other through someone in this community who plays both of our music on a live stream. Like, what a strange way to meet someone and be like, "Oh, your music is cool." Like, I think I posted like a voice memo of me doing like a really short cover of Shivers on Twitter, and then Natrum saw it and was like, "Hey, like, do you want to work together?" I'm like, "Holy crap, yeah, your production's amazing." And then we wrote a song together. So that's how that happened. But yeah, I mean, after Finally Find You, I do have other songs in the works. I don't know if I can spoil them technically, but I'm working with a really cool content creator on a song together. And then I have a bunch of songs. I might be writing another MCC song. I've just started working on it like yesterday. Maybe I might scrap it. Who knows? No promises.
MCC Rising?
Yeah, I actually just announced my team for MCC Rising. I'm applying to be in it. I'm not in the event. I just applied, so it's not confirmed yet.
We did too.
We did too,
you guys
though.
applied?
We did. Yeah, we applied yesterday.
Cool.
We filmed everything.
Yeah.
Oh man,
that'd be awesome. We
fun,
love
yeah.
you, Kat. We love you. But if we make it and you make it, it's on.
Oh, for sure. Hands up, yeah. Going down.
You haven't seen these guys try and play. I don't think you have anything to worry about.
Whoa. Mr. Speedrunner.
But yeah, I mean, after, like I do want to continue working in this community and doing like these kind of lighthearted, like kind of more like one-off songs, but then I am thinking more about the long term and who I am as an artist, and I want to start telling stories that I want to tell, from my life, and feelings that I want to share and like get across from what I've lived through in my 21 years on this earth. But yeah, definitely working towards a new album or EP, something like that. Some of the songs are up as VODs on my Twitch channel. Been working on them over the last, I don't know, like who knows how many months, while also working on DSMP stuff. And then I just figured I would just save them and release them sometime in the summer or fall. I guess getting into the fall now for all these original songs.
So then would this EP be pre-label then? Like this is still something that you're gonna have full control over, your EP?
I don't think I'm gonna lose too much control over the creative stuff. Like you said, like it is very competitive with like who wants to work with me and what kind of deal I might get. But it probably will be through a label.
Okay.
Hmm.
Well, congrats.
Thank you.
Yeah, congrats.
So
That's a
cool.
huge look.
It's a huge leap for me, but I definitely want to start thinking about the long term and like what's gonna develop me as an artist and what's going to put me out there to more people to listen to. And I've told labels, you know, I don't think I'm ever gonna be like a pop superstar or anything. Like that's not who I am. That's not what my brand is, and that's not what people follow me for. I don't even know if I'd ever go on like tour or anything. I might do like online live show or something, or maybe like short one-off performances, but I don't think I would ever go on like a US tour, a world tour, or anything like that. I'm definitely much more interested in like the artistic and the creative side of things, and being more like behind the scenes and working with really cool people and stuff like that.
Would you ever write or do some of the back end things for someone else, maybe, to kind of help them?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I've written songs a lot in school that have been sung by other people and like kind of playing that role of like molding the song around their voice and stuff like that. I mean, I've got all my experience molding around my own voice at this point. So it is a little bit more difficult for me, but doing the collaborations and stuff like that definitely help to like work with other people and to kind of think more about like what is their artist identity and what should they be putting out.
I think you're in the perfect space being, streaming your stuff to Twitch to be able to promote your stuff the way that you do. And I don't actually even feel like a live show or a live tour will even be necessary for your brand, just based off what I'm seeing, especially with the wave that we're seeing now. We're seeing Fortnite concerts, we're seeing VR concerts, we're seeing all these different things. And when you're a gamer and you're doing things in this space and there's millions of fans now seeing this in this world, you can do so many things digitally from your home, from your bedroom. It's
All the
actually
labels are jumping on the performance in video games right now, I think. Just doing all those.
Well, that, and I mean, COVID kind of I don't want to say set you up for success. I mean,
you have a captive audience.
I mean, in regards to, maybe what you want to do with, online performances. Like, I think pre-COVID, I know some people had done it, but it wasn't a thing. Where as COVID hit, that was the only way artists, because venues were shut down. So now there is such a massive market for stream concerts, Twitch concerts, everything. And that is a result of people being locked at home,
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I don't think I would be where I am without COVID. And that's not to say thank you to COVID, but to acknowledge that, my success is a product of a pandemic, of people being shut inside. And I do recognize that the pandemic has affected me personally in a lot of ways and has ruined my life in a lot of ways, but it has also blessed me with so many things of like an audience and people engaging with my work and not feeling pressured to go perform outdoors live or anything like in front of anyone in person. So it's both a blessing and a curse. And I do think about it a lot, and I do acknowledge where I've come from and what has caused me to blow up and everything.
Well, and I think your music was so perfect for this time just because you hear it. And like Nate was talking about, your music is so good at just evoking different emotions that when you're stuck inside, you're not seeing your friends, you're not really going out and doing anything. You really do turn into this like shade of gray person. And like listening to your music, it like brings that color back, and you immediately go get your friends like, you have to hear this right now. So it's I think a lot of us are definitely thankful for that as well, because it's helped us stay sane.
I mean, definitely something I think a lot about is like, music when in world, like I think about this in the world when there's a lot of bad stuff going on, people want to listen to happy music, and when there's a lot of good stuff going on, people want to listen to sad music. We just want to feel like, I think as humans we want to feel a range of emotions and connect differently with different things and find I guess connection in music where we might not find connection in events or other people. So I definitely find value in that, and I think about it as a concept or like an idea to put into music.
Some days Happy is just screaming blood for the blood god and headbanging the voice.
Yeah, exactly. I mean like upbeat in the sense that my music isn't all about like doom and gloom all the time. Like there are songs that are definitely sad or tell stories about sad things, and I noticed that they don't often do as well as the songs that are high energy or charismatic or really bubbly and fun. So then you know, I don't shy away from writing really cute and wholesome songs. And I don't shy away from writing the big anthems or like the powerhouse aggressive songs like Revived in Voices.
So another question for you, outside of music, being a content creator, is there any avenues that you would like to go down in the future, you know, vlogging or you know, I know you do stream on Twitch, but is there any non-music avenues that you want to go down in the future?
I mean, yeah, beyond the streaming on Twitch, I don't think I have enough time, given also that, you know, I'm I'm doing a lot of work for the Derivakat brand, and I think I should be focusing on the music and stuff like that. I don't think it's a good idea to try and branch out and do more stuff right now when I'm already overwhelmed. But you know, I do have a lot more personal hobbies that I do sometimes post about. Like I'm a cosplayer, I enjoy baking and stuff like that, and I post pictures of that, and I kind of consider it more as like a part of my personal life that I share with people. But and then I do play a lot of video games with just friends on my own time, because it's nice to just kick back and have fun rather than playing games on stream in the spotlight where it's a little bit more pressuring. So yeah, definitely different stuff, but content creation, I think I want to, if anything, I want to just promote my friends doing content creation rather than me doing it myself. So if they want to build my Kiba is building a vlog channel, and I'm just like, put my name in the title, I'll retweet it, you can take all my clout, everything, everything, I'll promote it, everything, but it's your channel, you will run it, you will do all the video editing and choose the music and film the footage and whatnot. I will show up to whatever we do, and you can put my name in the title and everything, but I can't spend that time curating and putting things together.
I love that, especially when you get to a platform where you can break bread with your friends, your close people that were there before, you know, things popped off. Definitely respect it. Yeah, exactly.
Have that group of people who were around there through all of my bad music that I sent them, and they said, "Oh yeah, great." And then all the good music, and they were like, "Holy crap, this is so cool. You're going to blow up one day." And I'm like, "Thank you for your support all this time." Like I really appreciate those people who've been there for me from day one.
What's been sort of the wildest part of, you know, because this journey's been what, you know, 8-9 months that it's really kind of taken off. What has been the wildest part of this last, you know, 8 or 9 months that you look back on and you're like, I must be dreaming?
Okay, I have a funny story for this. Back around New Year's, I mentioned that I started getting to Dream SMP like late December, like around Christmas. So around New Year's, my family had our little family meeting and thing, whatnot, and we did our New Year's goals. And we actually sheet that we filled out and everything. And I didn't fill out the whole sheet, but I picked the questions that were cool. And one of them was like, "What are your goals for this year?" And I put down, "I want to gain a big social media following." So definitely knocked that one out of the water. But then another thing on there that we answered was, how do you know you've succeeded? Like, what is your sign of success? Like, when are you going to recognize that what you have built is good enough? Or like you can say, I have done it, but I can keep going, you know, like a milestone, if you will. So I put down for that, if I ever get recognized in public, or if I hear anyone playing my music in public, and since I don't go out very much because of the pandemic, like I don't really hear people playing my music. I also don't really live in a city of like very young people. So yeah, it's definitely a lot more like millennials and older people working in the city. But I have had people come up to me at amusement parks and recognize me, and that was genuinely so strange. I'm just like, holy crap, like I really did not expect this. And it's really cool for it to happen, because also, you know, my face isn't a big part of my music. It's always the artwork or the music first. Like people don't necessarily always know what I look like off the bat, whereas with the Twitch streamers and the people like on the Dream SMP, like their face is in the music video, or their face is on the Twitch stream. And then also for like more typical artists in the industry, their faces in the music video. So it's very strange to me that I do get recognized, but then the first time it happened, I'm like, okay, well, I've made it. This is so cool. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely really cool to meet people that enjoy my stuff in person. Um, no one's asked me for a photo yet, which is kind of funny. They just want to say hi. But everyone who's met me has been really nice. It's been really cool. But I was looking forward to going to VidCon to meet more people, but it got canceled. COVID and everything. I'm kind of glad it got canceled. Just I don't know if I would have felt safe going, even being fully vaccinated, everything. But in the future, I do want to kind of have those opportunities to meet people, and like talk to people in person. It would be really cool. Beyond just that like barrier of the internet, and Twitch chat can only be so interactive. I'm looking at your username on a screen, and it is cool that I can interact with people in that way and that it is like real time. But it's different when you meet someone face to face and you get to see them, and like the numbers are numbers. I'm at around like 550,000 subscribers now on YouTube. But if I had all 550,000 of those people in an arena, like listening to me sing live, I would be so overwhelmed. Like the numbers don't become real until you think about how many people that is, how many people like have their eyes on my work, and how it doesn't necessarily hit me all the time that like it is that big. And there is some solace in being able to hide behind the internet and hide behind the vagueness of numbers, to just be a very like personal person, and have my family and what I like to do on my own, but then to also have this more public presence and to be able to talk to people on Twitch and interact with people as Derivakat.
I could relate to the story about like when you mentioned somebody kind of came up and recognized you, because doing radio, I hear myself around like my small town every now and then, because some places just have it on for the music. But I remember I was getting gas one day and I heard myself on a commercial, and I almost dropped the gas pump on the ground and ran in and been like, "Do you know who I am?" And it's just, no, I did a voice for a commercial. But like, it's that there's such a cool high, and I can't imagine 550,000 people. That's like the entirety of Denver just being like showing up to watch you play music.
Yeah, it's really crazy how many people it's gotten to. I was like, okay, 10,000's a lot, and then now we're here like over 500,000. I'm like, okay, wait, guys. I need to like figure out like how much this actually is, and then like it become the numbers of people turn into numbers of revenue, and it's terrifying, honestly, how big it's gotten. And I'm just like, oh man, like this is way more than I ever imagined it to be. But I'm so grateful that it really is, when it comes down to it, people who just enjoy my music. And I feel like I should always give back more to the people that do enjoy my stuff. I try to do that by releasing like tons of music like super often, and that is a product of me being very inspired and also hardworking, and also solely like I'm working on my own kind of person. I do want to do more for the people that have gotten me this far and that have supported me.
Well, I think too, you definitely got to realize, I mean, your music is what is doing things for people, like, I know you get comments on your videos like that your music affect them, what I mean? Like in a positive way, that, your music, I'm guessing has probably saved people. And so yeah, don't ever undervalue what you are giving to people is your creation of music. I mean, music is such a powerful thing. And I mean, that alone is doing a lot.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't mean to sound like superficial, but while I do recognize that my music has done a lot for people and inspires a lot in people, to either make their own art or to feel a certain way or to maybe save themselves, that's never really the intention with my music. It is a wonderful byproduct of my music, but the music is really for me, for what I want to put out into the world, what makes me happy, what I would consider my best work. And I do send my music to my friends who I call my average listeners. And I ask, hey, average listener, tell me what you think of this song. And then they'll say like, oh, this is really cool. Or like, oh, this like part doesn't really quite work here. I don't know what it is. I'm like, oh, I got it. I'll change it. There are techniques and stuff that I do use to make it towards the app, like targeted towards the average listener. But then there's a lot in there that I put in to make it fun for me as well to work on. Like, I don't want to write a really standard like pop song that's like really just generic, and yeah, it's pop, You know, like I want to write something that's really fun and unique and creates this world for people to get drawn into.
And it shows. And honestly, between having you on the show and also Evan MC Gaming, who is a young person that's also creating waves in the Dream SMP community, it's really, really refreshing to hear your mindset and to hear his mindset and how much they kind of are very similar in the idea of like you're keeping a level head, you're understanding the gravity behind the numbers, but you're not letting that, you know, dictate what kind of content you make or, you know, what kind of purpose you serve on your own platform. Like you're doing this for your own fulfillment, for your own artistic value, for what you throw out there, for what you love to see in the community, and not so much paying attention to what people might necessarily suggest. Maybe also that too, but also like what people are just telling you to do. You know, it's very much your own vision, and we're going to constantly keep supporting that. As long as you're going to continue to release whatever it is, you know, we're going to constantly be reacting to your work, however we can, showing support however we can. And I can't wait to buy digital tickets to maybe a digital concert by you.
That'd be epic.
You know, I can't wait.
For a press pass. I'm not going to lie. I'll have you on the radio. That way I can get a press pass.
I just want to say maybe to everyone listening, like if you do listen to my music, thank you so much. You are the reason why I am able to keep doing what I do, and I appreciate you so much, more than you will ever know, and I need to show it better. I need to say thank you so much more. But thank you guys so much for having me. This is wonderful talking to all of you.
Thank you so much for coming on. This literally was amazing and the time flew by.
Yeah, 100%. This was amazing.
Blast.
You know, for all the listeners out there that tuned into this podcast, episode 6, with guest host Derivakat, we appreciate you. We love you. Now go ahead and stay tuned for the fan art outro.
And make sure you check out Derivakat's new song as well.
Oh, yeah, of course. And
Yeah,
all of our
it's gonna be on
socials.
Friday.